Meet Stepfanie, a Chiari patient who is committed to making a lasting and meaningful impact. This is her story.
I found out I had Chiari in 2017. I was in a car accident. I was sitting at a red light and I got rear ended. Instantly, I had this burn in my head, in the back of my head, because the seatbelt locked. So my body didn't go completely forward, but when it went forward enough to jerk my head back and hit the headrest. And so I remember being dizzy and my vision was blurry. And I was just like, wow. So I had a concussion. Um, I didn't really give my brain time to rest. So I was only out of work the next day and then I went back to work the following day. But then the following week, I started experiencing memory loss. And I remember I was going to a building and I remember coming out and not knowing where I was, not remembering where my car was, not remembering what it looked like, anything. It was just like everything just went blank. Um, and I didn't tell anybody right away because I just figured it was something from the accident. So I didn't say anything. And then I went on to work. And then it happened again later in the week. And this time it was a little more intense. I remember my phone ringing and I couldn't remember how to answer it. And I was standing in the parking lot crying because I couldn't understand why I was feeling the way I was feeling. It was like I couldn't get my thoughts together to talk. I remember looking at my phone and crying because I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know how to answer it. I didn't know how to do anything. And I'm just standing in the middle of the parking lot. And then it was like I snapped out of it in a couple of minutes after that. And I was like, okay, I need to call my doctor. So when I called the neurologist, he said, we'll bring you back in. It sounds like post concussion syndrome. You probably didn't let your brain heal from the concussion. So we'll bring you back in and do an MRI. So I said, okay. So I go back in, they do the MRI, and I'm thinking, oh, everything's okay. It's, whatever. So then I get a phone call one day and they say, you have Chiari malformation. I said, what is that? I've never even heard of it. So then they explained to me that it's when your brain is descending into your spine, however many centimeters or whatever. And she did say that some people can have it going on and they can just take medication for the symptoms. But I remember her saying your case is pretty severe. We recommend surgery as soon as possible. And I was like, wait a minute. Surgery on what? Because we're talking about my head. So what are you talking about? Surgery? And she said, yeah, you'll have to have brain surgery. I think the main thing that really was getting to me was, am I going to be the same after this? Am I going to, is it going to alter the way my emotions are? Is it going to alter the things I can and cannot do? Um, but it kind of it shed light on my childhood because I've suffered with headaches since I was like 4 or 5 years old. So I remember going to the emergency room all the time because I would have these excruciating migraines, and they would always tell my mom and my grandmother they didn't know what it was. They could never figure out what it was. And I remember them even telling her I was allergic to peanut butter. So for years, I wasn't able to eat peanut butter because they thought it would trigger these headaches.
Through her journey with Chiari, Stepfanie has found strength, inspiration, and determination that have added value and purpose to her life, which she uses to connect with others who have Chiari. Children with Chiari and their parents hold a very special place in her heart.
It changed my view on some things, and it made, not that my life wasn't important before, but it made it more important to me. It made me see things differently. It made me move a little differently with other people. Um, it added more value to my purpose. It added more value to finding out more about this, because and to know that it's a lot of other people out here with it. I think the part that really bothers me is when I find out kids go through this. Um, because I couldn't imagine having a young child with this and you have to decide if they're going to have the surgery. Um, because I'm pretty sure it's a little harder for them to cope and deal with. Um, but as adults having that surgery, we're adults, so we're used to being beat up on with stuff in life. So you can't look at it so bad. I mean, yeah, it's something that it was thrown at us, but you know what? We're here. So this is what we have to do. We just have to figure out a way to help other people who have it, who may not be able to cope with it the way we do, and pray that they can find they can find more reasons, they can do more research.
To close, Stepfanie shares her thoughts on the importance of patient advocacy and how Chiari should not be allowed to conquer the lives of patients.
I just encourage people to ask questions. Write down questions before you go to the doctor. Make sure you get the answers that you're seeking, because you need to know as much as possible so that you can live comfortably with this condition. Because just because you have the surgery doesn't mean that everything is gone away. There's no cure for it. There's just an alleviation for it. That's what I always say. There's things they can do to alleviate the symptoms, but it's not like, oh, you don't have it anymore. We just can't allow ourselves. I know that we all have rough days, and um some of us, the days have gotten better since the surgery, but we just can't allow ourselves to feel defeated. Just because they don't have all the answers doesn't mean that our life has to stop. It doesn't mean that we have this condition and this is the end of our world, because it's not. Honestly, it's the beginning, because now we're learning to live with something that is going to be here until we're gone. So in the meantime, we just have to embrace it, embrace our scars, embrace it all, because this is just where we are. um, and even though it's scary, and even though it probably can be challenging, it could probably be upsetting. There's plenty of adjectives to describe how it could probably be for so many different people who are experiencing it. But in the same sense, we still have to keep pushing. We still have to keep persevering. We still have to, because if we give up, we'll never get the answers that we're looking for. And we have to encourage each other, because um, we all have the same issue. So we have to encourage each other. Of course, there's different levels, but we're still all in the same pool. We're still all under the same umbrella. Um, so we just have to continue to encourage each other, and be each other's crutch and strength and shoulder, and whatever else, because everybody handles things differently. And everybody's experience is going to be different. Some things aren't going to be the same, and that's fine. um, you just have to take it as it is and just keep on going. I mean, it's an intense condition, whether people want to understand that and realize that, but it really is.